Hello, my name is Elliott Rice, and this is going to be a video over the salivary glands and the normal anatomy, physiology, and common pathologies of the salivary glands. And I do not own a smart board or a whiteboard, so for diagrams I will have to use our textbook for the class. Okay, and to start off with functions, there are many functions of the salivary glands. The most common that everybody would think of is obviously they produce saliva. And saliva functions to lubricate food with digestive enzymes and also moisten the oral mucosa, which also allows for it to be easier to speak using the vocal cords. And most people don't think about the salivary glands making it easier to talk. But if you think about the fact that if all of your oral mucosa were bone dry and there was no moisture in your mouth whatsoever, it would be much harder to pronounce words as we know how to do it normally. And the salivary glands can be split into a couple groups. There are minor salivary glands, which are scattered throughout the oral mucosa, and there are three major pairs of salivary glands. And I say pairs because they are matching on each side of the face. And to start off with the first one, the parotid gland is here. It is in a region known as the buccal region. It lies right below the external auditory meatus here, which is the ear. It extends upwards to the zygomatic arch and inferiorly to the mandibular angle here, and backwards to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and it lies superficially to the masseter muscle. And then you can see here the parotid gland goes from the parotid duct over the masseter muscle, and it penetrates the buccinator opposite crown of the second upper molar tooth, you can see. And to show you here, and the duct is just what carries the saliva from the gland to your mouth. You can see here, here are your front teeth, here are your incisors, your canine teeth, your two premolars here, your first molar and your second molar. So when I say crown of the second molar, that is the crown of second molar that we're referencing opposite of. And the next gland is the submandibular gland, which we will have to go to a different, sorry about the lighting, a different picture for. The shadow's bad. The submandibular gland is here. You can see it is split up into a deep and superficial group, which is separated by this thin sheet of muscle known as the mylohyoid muscle. And overall, the entire submandibular gland is located in the digastric triangle. The submandibular duct opens on the sublingual papilla, which can be found down here. And you can find this by, if you follow the frenulum on when you reach the inferior portion of the frenulum down here, you can see the submandibular duct openings right here. And the sublingual duct openings are on this sublingual fold here and here. But we have not got to the sublingual gland. I'm just showing you that the submandibular ducts are proximal to the body compared to the sublingual ones, which are further out in the mouth. And now to the sublingual glands, which can be found here below the teeth. The sublingual gland is the smallest of the salivary glands, and it lies above the oral mucosa and the mylohyoid muscle. The sublingual ducts open to the sublingual papilla, which I've already showed you here. The sublingual ducts are on the sublingual fold. It's very hard to see in this picture. I can see it in the book fine, but with the iPad it's not, the resolution isn't showing up or something. You can see holes along this fold, and those are all sublingual duct openings, which is where the saliva comes out. And back to the submandibular duct opening, those two are right here at the bottom portion of the frenulum. So you just follow that frenulum from your tongue all the way down, and you'll be able to find them. And as far as pathologies of the oral region with the salivary glands, I mean, you could do a video for hours over all of the pathologies, but just to cover a couple of the common ones that people are more likely to understand and run into. Mumps, not too common today in the U.S., but it is a viral infection that is usually occurring in children, but it can definitely happen in adults. If anybody follows sports this year, in the National Hockey League, they actually had an outbreak of the mumps, and it put a lot of players out for a very long time. It consists of preauricular pain, which is pain in front of the ear. And you can see back to the parotid gland here. Mumps includes swelling of the parotid gland, which is what causes the preauricular pain in front of the ear here. And it's accompanied by fever, chills, and headache. And the other common pathology I would like to cover is nicotinic stomatitis, which is where the hard palate in the mouth, in the oral region, is whitened by hyperkeratosis, which is heat from tobacco use, whether that be smoking or hot liquids. And tobacco can cause a number of problems in the mouth. Tobacco use can, but this is literally just speaking from the heat of it, not from the toxic chemicals that are in tobacco. But the heat can cause hyperkeratosis, which is the white spots in the mouth, and this irritation causes inflammation of the duct openings, which you can see throughout here on the palate. You can see the dilated duct openings, which is what ends up happening. The ducts get irritated and they get dilated because the actual duct openings will become red spots on the white inflamed parts of the palate. And in my dad's dental practice and many other dental practices that I've shadowed in, it's very easy to see this when people get the white spots from smoking. They will get it literally all over their mouth, not just on hard portions, but on soft portions of tissue too. And when they do get it all throughout their mouth, the hyperkeratosis, it's very easy to see the duct openings because they do literally just become red spots, and they stick out like a sore thumb on the white inflamed tissue. And a Bible verse that I would like to reflect on when it comes to anything really that has to do with anatomy or physiology. To me, it's just incredible that God created our body the way He did. If you take the salivary glands out of our body is still incredibly complex. There's so much going on, so many details, and something as simple as making a gland that makes our mouth moist was not left out by God because His creation is perfect. And I mean, we wouldn't be able to digest food, we wouldn't be able to eat, we wouldn't be able to talk without our salivary glands, and for Him to not leave a detail like that out is just, it's another detail of creation that amazes me. And a Bible verse that I would like to reflect on is, let's see if I can flip this around, hopefully you can still see me, would be Psalm 139:14, which is traditionally the verse known as the fearfully and wonderfully made verse, but I have the New Living Translation with me tonight, as you can see here, so it doesn't use the traditional fearfully and wonderfully made terminology. But in the New Living Translation, it says, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." And to me, that, along with being fearfully and wonderfully made, it really embodies what God did with us. Creation is perfect, we are perfect, and He made no mistakes, and He left no details out. And this is my video on the salivary glands. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.